Hello and welcome to the Absolute Gamecast. I'm sure most people have played or heard of Roblox at some point, but I'll explain it briefly for those who haven't. Roblox is a game that works as a design program for game developers to create simple game experiences for other players to enjoy. Before the Doors reaction compilation, I hadn't played Roblox in a while, and when I saw all the horror games popping up across YouTube, I didn't think much of them, feeling that the games were likely just decent experiences but not very noteworthy or impressive, and in some cases were made solely to be marketable and sell toys without much else to back it up. However, I was wrong, and I'm glad I was. After seeing many people cover Doors, I figured I should give it a fair chance, and I'm glad I did, because I was pleasantly surprised by how good most, if not all, of the games were. I would like to get into more detail now, but before I do, I would ask that you experience these games for yourself first if you can, as they are more enjoyable if you go in blind like I did. The link to the Roblox website will be in the description of the video. The first game I played for a video, and the one I enjoyed the most, was Doors. In this game, you're tasked with walking through 100 procedurally generated rooms, similar to the game Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion if you've played that, with a random assortment of enemies in them that each have their own mechanics to prevent you from dying, which you learn through a series of trial and error. I won't really be going into the mechanics too much in this video, as there are quite a few, but there are other videos on YouTube that do a great job of explaining them in depth, so please check them out if you decide to. One of my biggest compliments of the game is, as many people on YouTube will tell you, there are many points where this doesn't feel like a Roblox game at all. It feels like a genuine indie horror you would find on Game Jolt or Steam. Atmosphere is another thing the game excels at. The graphics are amazing, the hotel you're in is very atmospheric, with thunderstorms booming outside, banging in the walls, and creaking in the floors, which admittedly feels pretty basic for a horror game, but it still feels tense when you hear the noises echoing when you least expect them. There were a few times in my early attempts where lightning would cause the room's light to flicker, and I couldn't tell if I was supposed to hide or not, forcing me to leave the fate of my entire run up to a coin flip. The entities also make a variety of noises that mix with the ambience and quickly get louder with proximity, so it appropriately feels like the monster is running at you and you have mere seconds to react before a swift possible death. The game can be challenging at times, and as of me writing this video, I still haven't been able to finish it, but I feel that the challenge is fair enough to where you can eventually win if you try hard enough, and it never feels too unfair throughout most sections of the game. Everything feels like a mistake you made due to lack of experience or simply miscalculating, and you learn better ways to handle enemies as you continue, so death doesn't feel pointless. It can, however, be a little annoying when you die super close to the end where you aren't allowed to respawn and have to start over again. Of the three in this video, this is the game I recommend checking out the most if you haven't. The second game I checked out was Piggy. This game gave me vibes of several other games such as Dead by Daylight, Dark Deception, Monsters and Mortals, and Project Playtime, to name a few examples. In a basic run, you'll likely play as a survivor and have to run from a monster chasing you across the map while collecting items and solving puzzles to unlock an escape path. I feel like the atmosphere of this one was good, but I was only ever really scared when the monsters were suddenly chasing me from behind a door, but there was still plenty of tension throughout when I didn't know where the monsters were. The gameplay is simple but can occasionally feel chaotic since you have so many things to keep track of, like the places where certain items are needed and trying to find where they are, while also having a monster or monsters that are almost always on your tail. There are also plenty of maps to play, but most are fairly small and don't allow much room for you to run or hide, but with practice I wouldn't consider that much of an issue. There's also a story to the game that can be hard to follow along with when playing in a public lobby, but that can be easily fixed. I would still recommend checking it out, but I would recommend starting a private server and playing with friends, since then you can be more coordinated and make the game a little easier and more fun. The final game of the video is Rainbow Friends. The game is similar in many ways to Piggy, but to me it almost improves on a few areas. You're still doing fetch quests, but it's much simpler since it's only one quest per night and is very concise with what you need to do, and you're given as long as you need to finish the night, so it feels less chaotic. You're also given a short rest period between each night, so you can freshen up and go to the next level at your best. The AI of the enemies is also very easy to understand and much more forgiving, leading to plenty of time times where I expected to die, but got off scot-free, which was nice. The story is also much cleaner, with cutscenes at the start and end of each level, which are all in order, so you leave the game understanding the story completely. I would recommend it, but it might be a little too simple for some players, so you can make that decision for yourself. If I had to give a moral to this video, it would probably be to not judge anything without a fair chance, because you never know when you might be impressed with what you find. I hope this video encouraged you to give some of these games a try, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Not gonna force you, do what you want. Thanks for tuning in, and that's the video. Bye.